Aloha everyone, this is Arado and we're here to talk about the upcoming banners. There are two banners that's gonna drop tomorrow in tomorrow's update. So one of which is the Matcha side of the banner. So we have Macha, Leonard, and Balmante or Balmaint. First off, I want to give a quick shout out to Fuluyano-san for the awesome matcha art we have on display. When you have the chance, please visit his page. He does a lot of Saga artwork as well as some original artwork. His Twitter handle, of course, is @Fuluyano. So yeah, when you have the chance, please visit his page. Thank you so much again, Fuluyano-san, for the artwork. Alright, let's start off with whom I think is the best in the banner, which is Matcha. So Matcha is a very competent free healer, even to current JP standard, because in a way, if she uses Divine Tree with her passive as well, she can do 3 times of an extra small heal. And if you're using a party that does the turtle method with the willpower and love buffing, that you can heal maybe around 1,000-ish HP with all those healing combined. So the passive for Matcha got upgraded in global. So rather than having a 25% chance to trigger, it got upgraded to 37% chance. And then with her skill number 1, giving her a BP plus 1 whenever it's used, that it allows her to spam Divine Tree more, because ultimately her role in a party is your main source of healing, Divine Tree or the passive. So you can add some inherit to her with Flame Hammer from the S style, or maybe Rock Sting or Tower from the UDX style. But really, you would be fighting over your BP battery with her, in deciding whether you need to intelligence debuff or to do healing. I would say, because healing is really important at this time, that it would be good to have her focus on that, and then just have Flame Hammer or Tower in your back pocket. So as you know, as you can tell from how I am introducing Matcha, is that she is a hard content character because she has high protect tension, and then um, so high protect tension in general, usually you would have more survivability because of the 30% damage mitigate, and then being able to revive dead character because she has earth heal. So that would be something helpful for your party, when something goes wrong. One thing to note for Matcha's ability, for ability number 2, where it says when you do a healing type of skill, that she would have a self-healing and BP for herself. That is something that would be triggered 5 times, I would think, with Earth Heal, because Divine Tree is counted as an offensive skill rather than a healing skill. You should be able to see that when you look at the skill. At the left, it would say whether it's an attack, a support, or whatever. If it says healing, then yeah, that's what would trigger that ability. So that's one thing to consider. People get confused with that because the effect of Divine Tree is somewhat of a, healing effect. And then lastly, Final Isle, it's really hard for the well level 7, especially for those with single target enemies. So having Divine Tree for those blunt or pierce well would be a great help for you to have less actions for you to be able to attain higher score in that one. So yeah, that's Matcha. Personally, if you have a lot of free heal units already, like UDX Snowy or Christmas Final Empress and so on, that I would think they would be enough for you to be able to tackle the contents. But if you really want some assurance with free heal unit, go for Matcha. I think it would be worth the investment if you get her now, because you would be able to use her, I would say, at least a good 3 or 4 months of hard content, which is, well, it's not too much release of those type of content, but if they do, you have a healer ready for you for those type of content. All right. The next two we're gonna cover, it should be fairly quick because they're pretty straightforward in what they do. So Leonard is either a one-shot AoE, because from his S style you can do wheel slash, which can be upgraded to the plus version and then have an S type of damage for AoE for 13 BP. Or you can just have him focus on being a row farmer, focusing on slash and heat element, with his power charge 3 as part of his ability set, and also gaining BP plus 3 whenever he takes down an enemy, that he would be able to do 3 times of his skill number 2, being able to efficiently farm row for slash or heat element. Or you can do a turn 2 or turn 3 strong AoE with the floating juggernaut, I think is the name of skill number 3. So yeah, either you do wheel slash plus to open up the battle with an AoE, or you do turn 2 or turn 3 a really strong AoE because it's SSS damage. The next one would be Balmante. So Balmante is a column farmer. Unfortunately, he is a 2-rounder column farmer only because he doesn't have any BP gain whenever he does action or taking down enemy and so on, and he only starts with 10 BP, so he can only use his skill number 2 twice per battle. And then I would say he is an average AoE farmer because you can do skill number 1, but unfortunately usually for a 10 BP AoE it would do A, sometimes an S damage, but for Balmante it's a B damage because there is a follow-up with that column attack. That's why, you know, if you want to take benefit of that AoE side of that skill, that it's below the usual average of a 10 BP skill. And then after that he defaults to skill number 1, which is also an AoE skill, but a rather weak AoE damage at that. That's why if you have a better AoE option, like say in the next banner review, like Tarja for cold element, Tarja's skill number 2 would be something you would like to use for AoE farming because it's decent damage and then you do consistent damage for 3 rounds at least. The good thing about Balmante is having very high attack passive, so you would be able to take advantage of that in Remembrance battle, being able to do really good damage because, you know, you always hit the enemy weak point in Remembrance, and one of the consideration for Balmante is to hit the enemy weak point so that he would be able to have, I would say, 70% attack power. So yeah, it's pretty high, but it's just that he would need some external BP for him to be useful or really do hard damage to the target. And then with his style, the free SS style or the A style, there's not much really to inherit from those styles for him to be better, mainly because they're a little outdated skill. That you have gash, vertical smash, or crescent slash for A style, and then for the free SS style you have rolling slash, cut timber, and spinning strike. Rolling slash has an amplification, but it's also outdated because it's 12 BP for A damage AoE. So yeah, that's where Balmante, I feel, kind of falls short, and people might not be as much might not be wanting to chase Balmante as much as, say, Leonard, if you're lacking on a row farmer, or, you know, ultimately Macha for healing. So yeah, that is the banner rundown for this. Like I said, Macha is my top choice for this, and if you ever chase for Macha, you would have a solid healer with you for quite a while for some of the hard content until the next level of characters would be released, like say Romancing Saga 3 Muse and Charles. So on that banner, Muse is pretty good because she starts the, she doesn't start, but rather she has an AoE healing that doesn't use LP, And then the one that starts not using LP for certain skills would be the Game Boy folks for Halloween. So Esper Girl would be a good candidate for that. If you have UDX Esper Girl, telekinesis guarantees you to have BUs every turn. And then with the Halloween style, that if you use telekinesis, you have a chance to chain it again with another telekinesis. I think it would be a large chance if I'm not mistaken. So that would be a 37% chance all the time to chain a second telekinesis for a second extra small heal. So if you have Esper Girl already, and then you can wait for Halloween, then yeah, Halloween Esper Girl would be a solid character to have versus Macha. The problem with Macha is that she focuses so much on healing that she can't have any other stuff to do. And because, like I said, if you try to add intelligence debuffing on her, that you would be fighting over which skill to use, especially if you're in a pinch that you need both of those capability, that you would have to decide one or the other and pray to RNGesus that, you know, you don't die for that round because you picked the wrong option. Unlike, say, Halloween Esper Girl, you can have I forgot the name for skill number 3 for UDX. So if you use that, and then so you would have defense boost to the party, and then it has a chance to chain with telekinesis, so that there is that chance to do extra small heal. So in a way, you do more than just healing or more than just a defense boost to the party. Leonard, if you're lacking row farmer, Leonard would be pretty solid. Balmante, I would say, would shine a lot in Remembrance. There are 2-rounder farming, like, you know, for events, they usually do it as a 2-rounder now. And then it's a column stage that Balmante would be able to help with that. Especially now he is covering sun and slash element at that. So yeah, that's the banner rundown for this side of the double banner. Hopefully you get good luck if you decide to pull. If you don't decide to pull because you already have what these characters can do, that is totally fair. Always consider that we already have the bottomless off-banner romancing festival characters implemented, even though it's gonna take a while for these folks to be added to the bottomless pool. Eventually they will be added, and if you're just collecting, if you're just pulling for collection, might as well just wait for them to be added, because who knows, right? You might be able to encounter them in the future. But if they're your favorite, of course, favorite would usually trump what the meta character is, especially at this point of the game. So pull for your favorite characters. All right, thank you so much again, everyone, and see you in the next banner rundown with the Taria side of the banner. And again, thank you, Fuluyano-san, and thank you, Jans and Hans and Rain, for all the data that's available for me to be able to come up with this video. So yeah, see you in the next video and stream, or stream rather.